5, 6, 7, 8. It's a mess. Oh, it's a mess.
Hello, everybody, and
It's a
welcome to the
mess.
podcast. It's a mess,
Oh, it's a
sis.
mess.
So, what exactly is a mess?
Oh,
A
it's a
mess is a
mess.
situation or a state of
Oh,
affairs
it's a
that is
mess.
confused or full of difficulties.
Oh, it's a
The
mess.
mess is when things don't
Oh,
go the
it's
way
a
you plan.
mess.
It is when you have to go off script,
5,
improvise,
6,
ad
7.
lib, sit through the
It's a
awkwardness,
mess.
and breathe through the pain until you
Oh, it's
come
a
out on the other
mess.
side, because you will come
Oh,
out
it's a
on the other
mess.
side. It is everything that makes
Oh, it's
life
a
interesting
mess.
and transformative. It is
Oh,
what
it's
we
a
are here to
mess.
do. It is how we learn how
Oh, it's
to
a
be.
mess.
So, join us as we
Oh,
dive
it's
into
a
this
mess.
week's mess.
Oh, it's a mess. Oh. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jessica, co-host on my favorite podcast. I am a writer, a singer, and an overall tough-ass weirdo. A millennial woman living in LA and figuring shit out. While I've had strategies about how things would go, my life had other plans, so I'm wading through this mess with y'all, one thought-provoking topic at a time.
Hi everyone. I'm so glad to be back. My name is Rena. I am the other host. I'm a licensed social worker from the DMV. I'm an avid sneakerhead, so check me out at Sneakerine. I'm a film buff, tech enthusiast, overall content creator. I create in everything I do. I have been on my own personal development journey for the past few years. And now I seek an outlet to just share what I've learned, struggled with, and what I continue to absorb on my journey because I believe that not only will it help myself, oh my goodness, not only will it help myself, but I feel like it can help others who really truly resonate with my story.
Lovely. So that is a little bit about us. This is episode 22 entitled Friend or Foe. What is your inner dialogue? And I just want to say, welcome back, guys. We took a little tiny hiatus and
Yeah.
we are back, and I'm so excited to be with you guys again. I missed you so much. Do we want to say why this episode, Rena?
That or should we do the mess?
We could do the mess.
We could do the mess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the mess, Jess?
Ah, you got me. um, the mess this week has just been getting back into a routine. And I think for a long time, I've loved routine. But if I would get out of it or break it, for more than a couple days, then it would be very difficult to get back into the swing of things. I'd find it hard to like jump back into whatever the routine was. So as you probably know, if you've been listening and following along, Rena and I took some time off, but we were actually on a birthday journey for myself and Lacey, and we had like a whole adventure. It was really dope. If you're following our personal pages, you've seen some pictures. But that was like maybe 10 days. So that was quite a long time. I didn't work. I didn't work out, unfortunately. I didn't do all the things that I do when I'm home and situated and settled. And so getting back home and then having another little mini trip after the 10 days, it just made it kind of like wonky. My schedule, my eating, my working out, everything was just very like off kilter. It was just wonky. So this past week I've spent trying to get myself back into the throes of like my schedule and like my routine so that I can get back to where I want to be and not let any time off, any breaks, anything that can come in to change my routine, keeping me from continuing the routine once I'm able to. So that it's been fun, but it's also been a mess because my body was like, I like rest, and I don't want to work out, and I had to coax her ass out the bed. I'm like, come on, baby. You can do it. So that is the mess this week for me. How about you? What's been the mess for you?
You know, before I get to me, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because when I said, maybe we should take a break, you were like, no, I don't want to take a break. And I'm like, why? And I don't think like it's
Yeah.
just gonna be like just 2 weeks. You'll be
Right.
fine. You're like, I really don't want to. But I get
Yeah.
it now,
Um,
like you and your routines and how hard it is for you to kind of, get back on it. So that makes
yeah.
sense. Okay.
I couldn't even actually like vocalize it when you were asking me like
You
why,
couldn't.
and I'm just like I don't know, but
You
I
just
just
cried. You're
listen.
just like,
Don't.
That's all you said. That's all you said.
Oh my, I ain't no crybaby. I'm a
I
gangster.
was like, no, you were like, ah. I said, okay, well, you let me know when you figure it out. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, but I mean that's the truth of it though. I'm learning though, and I'm growing with myself, so it's okay.
That's all you
It
got to
will
do.
be okay. Yeah. Okay, so what about you? What's been your mess?
Ah, my mess is that, since I was also on this trip, I was juggling a lot. I was juggling I'm doing this like training program. I was trying to still do that, but not at all. And I had to get back in the mode of doing that. And the training program was doing something new. I was doing something new all at the same time. So, and then I really realized, probably before we even went on the trip, that I really don't even really want to be doing this training program. So it's just a lot of
Dang.
me trying to like finish things that I've started. And I started it knowing that I didn't want to finish it, but I started it anyway. So
Wow.
I'm having some trouble trying to figure out when to stop. You know, what's the difference between quitting and just deciding that this isn't for you? So
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like that
yeah.
needs to be a topic because that'd be the high key struggles.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm doing a lot. A lot. I have a tendency to hold on to things for too long because of what I think they can bring me or what I feel like they should bring me. And, it's just a lot of that. Like, I will force some shit.
Damn.
So I try to figure out how to release things, just go with the flow, but I'm still in this damn class. So that's so I haven't really done any of what I said. I said try. I didn't say I was doing it. I said I was trying.
Wow. Wow.
And what I know I won't do is get a job in this shit, but even though they just offered me a job. So that's my mess in my life.
Ooh,
Okay.
that sounds like a messy mess. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like
And it's
it kind of
all good
goes.
stuff too. And
Yeah.
I think that's the problem, letting go of something that I know is good, but not necessarily for me.
Ooh, another good one. Another good one because that is the trick. Like something can be excellent, but not for you.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think that's our mess. We're gonna move on over to why we're doing this episode. Rena, let the people know why are we
Ah, I
doing
see
this
how this
episode.
works.
Right. Got you.
So we said this is friend or foe. What's your inner dialogue? So why would we do this? Why would we talk about this? Why would we even ask ourselves, is your inner dialogue a friend or a foe? Well, because how you talk to yourself, it ties into your perception,
Right.
and eventually that turns into your reality. So I think it's important to get an understanding of who you are and how you speak to yourself
Mm.
and how that manifests outside of yourself. I believe that your thoughts are just decisions in process. So if you have self-defeating thoughts, then that opens you up to expecting defeat. If your thoughts are friendly and graceful, that is what you expect from the world. So just taking time to explore if your thoughts, your judgments, the way you speak to yourself is actually creating the reality that you desire.
Yeah, that's dope. That's really dope. I'm really glad to do this episode because it is very interesting. We've heard from different folks whether we had a Zoom with this topic and that we had some really amazing input and some really amazing conversations. And I hope the next time we have a Zoom that some more of you will join in, and definitely the people who were there come on back. But it was just interesting to hear the different things that people had going on in their head with their dialogue. So, but we're going to dive right in and get to the definition. And if you are following along, feel free to pause and define it for yourself, and then jump right back in to hear what we've decided to define this as. So, did you want to go first with the definition, or would you like me to?
You can go.
Okay, so as y'all know, I am a fan of Google, and they define inner dialogue as internal dialogue. It also refers to a person's inner voice that occurs while a person is awake. The conversation usually reflects both a person's unconscious and conscious beliefs and thoughts. It's also known as an internal monologue or self-talk, inner speech, inner discourse, or internal discourse. It is usually tied to a person's sense of self. So that is my definition. I found that to be fitting with how I think about the inner voice or inner dialogue. And Rena, you have a question? Yes.
Nope, I think you're never mind. You're good. Keep going.
Okay. Um, and so now, a part of the dig down, we have a couple ways that we've broken down the questions. So the questions that we've asked of ourselves for this definition is: do you have an inner voice? To describe it, who is your inner voice? Is it a man or a woman? And then the final question: is it a friend or a foe? So I do actually have an inner voice, and it is a woman. She is me. I hear my own voice in my head, usually. There are occasions, though, when I hear encouraging things. It's my mom or dad or either of my brother's voice. But generally, and most of the time, it's me. And now on to friend or foe. I feel like this one's kind of tricky, honestly, because most often I feel like my inner dialogue is a friend. For instance, I feel incredibly comfortable like learning new things and subjects because my inner voice is very encouraging. She tells me with such conviction, like, you know, you can learn this. There's no doubts once she says it because she's been right so many times before and she's so confident. Now it comes to the things that I have failed at frequently, and to her, that's anything that's not 100% perfect. Uh, that's that Virgo baby. But if I failed at it frequently, then she's skeptical, and I haven't decided if that means she's a complete foe. But she's certainly not like my best friend in that moment, or she's not like, or maybe she's like an acquaintance or something. I say that because sometimes the skepticism she has makes me rethink my way of doing things and leads to me winning in these certain scenarios. But sometimes the doubt keeps me stuck and in fear of the failure, the perceived failure, the failure that I've had before, you know. So I think in general, I give it like an 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, she's very kind to me, my inner voice. She's very encouraging, and she expects and receives all the good of the world. But there are some times where it's just, not the best.
Right.
Yeah. So what about you? What's your definition?
Okay, so I like to keep things, short and sweet. So my definition of inner dialogue is the voice inside your head. And I just
Okay.
realized I spelled that wrong. Okay. And do I have an inner voice? I do. And to describe it, for me, my inner voice sounds like other people at times, and then sometimes it sounds like myself. And then sometimes it sounds like something, divine or like an angel. Um, yeah, yeah. And so now down to friend or foe, I said on the Zoom, and I still keep this. I still maintain this stance. Both,
Mm-hmm.
mostly foe. Well, it was mostly faux up until recently. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like over the past 2 years, I've been really kind of working on myself and my narrative and how I
Yeah.
speak to myself. I do see it turning into more of a friend. And just kind of in hearing you talk, like if I had to break down like the faux voice versus the friend voice, the faux sounds like me. Like I'm
Oh,
quick to
really?
say like bitch, don't do that. And that's not even me on the outside. That's just me on the inside of my
Right.
head. Like
Right.
I would never talk to anyone else like that. I would never say, "Bitch, now you know that's some fucked up." I would never say that, but I'll say that to me in a heartbeat. But
Right.
the friend that I feel emerging, I don't know if it's really me. It's like it's just this. It's a calmer person, somebody who seems very steady, and just like really like stable and secure, and they're just kind of like it's almost like even when I'm kind of going off on myself in my head, they're kind of like, now you know that's counterproductive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and it's like alluring to the point where like I can just feel myself like listening to that voice more and then telling myself, shh, like, shh, I'm trying to listen over here.
Right.
Um, So it's an interesting experience, and I gotta kind of sit with why I feel like I can identify the foe as being my own voice, and but I identify the friend as being something other than my own voice. So I gotta really sit with that.
That's really interesting. Now, the other voice, is that a woman or what does it sound like?
Ah. It's a woman, definitely. I feel
Okay.
like it's like an older woman, but I wouldn't say like elderly woman. Like maybe just somebody, maybe it could be my future self or the self I'm trying to become. So
Okay.
maybe eventually it'll turn into my voice. I'll just have this steady, just regal voice. And not this frantic one I have now.
Now, was that other voice about your own?
Hey, 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 hey. Hey,
Oh, I kid. But that's very interesting. That's very interesting how sometimes it's our voice. And in your case, the foe is your voice. Like that is some interesting understanding.
right.
And I wonder, is it going to be your future voice? Like, wouldn't that be interesting if it just switches and it's just your voice now that is the one that's like, Rena, we can do this, or whatever she says to you.
Yeah. That would,
Yeah,
that would be cool. I would love for that to be my primary voice
yeah,
and
that'd be
for
dope.
the other one kind of just, fade away. But, I feel like it's coming together.
Okay. Now, I do have a question, another one, before we get into the impact. Now, okay, so there are sometimes limitations to our abilities, to our thoughts, and things like that. So there are some things that I can do. There are some things that I can't do. Right now, I honestly cannot do the splits like the real way, right? So if that inner voice is like, nah, you can't do that, that's true. Like,
Yeah.
at what point do we consider it negative? If they're bashing or if they're just telling you like that's literally something you can't do. Like how do we decipher if it's good or bad? Like that's just something that popped in my head. Like not to say that we know what's bad, but like is that voice being like honest or realistic bad? Is that faux? You know what I mean?
From my personal experience,
Uh-huh.
like I think it's all about the delivery. Like
Okay.
if it's presented as just fact, if
Mm.
it's presented calmly and you feel like it's out of love, like hey, probably shouldn't walk in that dark alley, you know, but and kind of like everything outwardly kind of matches up. And you see like some
Right.
shadow, like or something like a like a flash of like a shine or something, like by this dumpster that you're about to walk past, you might want
Right.
to turn around and say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna calmly run away from Jack the Ripper. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But if it's like broad daylight, or if it's something you can do,
Hmm.
like I've actually done this to myself. Like I'll do this thing where it's something simple, like when you hop up on a ledge to sit.
Yeah.
And when I think about it too much and say, nah, that's too high or something, I can't do it. Or
Uh-huh.
like if you're doing a box jump, right? Like,
Yeah.
when you're at the gym and you're just trying to jump on box, if I tell myself I can't do it, I can't do it.
Wow.
If I say, you know what, you've done this before, like you got this, boom, I can do it. Like,
Yeah.
or like for instance, I know how to do a split, right?
Hmm.
If I tell myself, oh, this is my weak side, and oh, you haven't stretched, and I start saying all these things, hell no, I'm not gonna be successful.
Yeah.
So I think it's the delivery. It's like is it coming
Okay.
out of like a realistic fear or panic,
Hmm.
or is it just you're just down on yourself today?
Yeah.
Like it's like is your inner voice being a hater?
High key. And that's the tricky one. Are you being a hater right now? Man, I think that's actually leading us on to the impact. And so I will say that the impact is, for me, I think things that I've been good at, I continue to get better at because the inner voice is encouraging and very empowering.
Mm.
And with the things that I've tried and failed at or didn't do perfectly, I struggle with improvement because I'm unsure and my inner voice is casting doubt. And I think overall, the impact is that my level of success or failure in the past determines my level of success or failure in the future, which is excellent at those times where it's excellent and worrying at the times when it's not. Because I am wanting to be the type of human being that continues to grow for my entire life, that continues to learn things. Rena knows I collect hobbies and jobs and things. And they're like, damn, you did that too? Yes, I
And
did.
accents.
And accents and all sorts of things. So I want to be able to, if something is new, if something was not necessarily my best effort before, I want to be able to try again and do it with the encouragement of my inner voice and with the acknowledgement that, okay, yeah, even if you did fail, or even if you fail this time, it's okay, you know. So I think the impact is that I'm trying to like, or right now that is the impact. It's just that what has been good stays good and gets better, and what has been bad unfortunately stays kind of in that same area, stays very murky, stays very like unsure, because that's what's happening inside, you know. So that's the impact for me. What about for you?
Um, I think it's similar. For me, the impact of like just how my inner voice has operated in my life has been that, I've felt unsupported.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't support myself, internally, I searched for it externally. But we all know that like people believe what you tell them. So
Mm-hmm.
if I can't even tell myself and convince myself, I can't convince other people either. So then
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling unsupported all around. Um, and then my answer to that, especially when I was younger, was to say, okay, well, I already know this isn't going to work out. Let's just follow that train of thought, be super pessimistic, and just expect bad things. And when they happen, be like, aha, see, you're
Oh
not going to catch
man.
me slipping. Like, I just knew life was shit for
Yeah.
real. And then I'm like, yay, have a whole like celebration for like how this shit didn't work out.
Wow.
Uh, but now that I'm doing some work and I'm exploring and I'm trying to make some different decisions, it's led me to wonder if things were just bad or if I was manifesting that experience.
Mm.
Um, and you were talking and it triggered something in me, and it made me think about like the faux voice I have versus the friend voice, and I feel like, and it made me think about how the faux voice is very rooted in the past. It's
Okay.
very rooted in like things that didn't go right.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when I was younger, which was in my past, I had a very pessimistic view on the world. And
Yeah.
now that I'm getting older and now I'm trying to support myself, and I'm acknowledging and even getting to that point where I can honor, okay, I want these things and I believe I can have these things. I think that calm voice is more like that. The friend voice is more like a future voice, or like
Mm-hmm.
where like where I can like I have faith that maybe it can be good.
Yeah.
So I think the impact is just that. It's like if you tell yourself you can't, then you can't. But if you
Mm-hmm.
tell yourself that you can, then you can open up all these doors and possibilities, or you can at least see the opportunities. I've probably
Yeah.
missed so many opportunities just because I wouldn't allow myself to see them because I was afraid of things working out and then
Mm.
not being able to maintain it, or being disappointed eventually. Like I think that's another thing. Like I think it's all because I don't want to get hurt.
Ooh. That's some real fucking shit right there. Oh my God.
So that's been the impact for me.
Wow, that like you really hit the nail on the head. Like there's a couple things that you said, but like the situation of like not wanting to start something and be successful, not being able to maintain, that is a fear that I don't know that I've actually vocalized, but that really triggered something in me that it's like, oh shit, am I gonna be able to maintain this shit? Am I gonna be able to keep up with this shit? That is real shit. And then the fear of pain and hurt and disappointment. I think that definitely also resonates with me, because I feel like that has been a motivator in a for a lot of people, and for a lot of my life anyway. I know that just the fear of like, oh, what if this doesn't work out? What if it works out horribly? What if this is the worst thing that I've ever done? You know, kind of thing. So, yeah, wow, yeah, that's crazy, interesting.
Yeah, a lot of interesting things coming up.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess now we're to the cope. Is that where
Yes,
we
we
are
are.
now?
Yes.
Okay.
So how do you cope, Jess?
How do I cope? I think I cope by just being aware
Mm-hmm.
and taking steps to redirect my thoughts when I'm being realistic, in quotation marks, yet harsh. Um, because I can't lie to myself. I know that I failed this thing in the past.
I
I
wish I had
had
that
that.
problem. Oh my gosh, can I lie to myself? Oh, My faux self will lie to me so quick to get me to stop wanting something
Ah, damn.
out of fear. It's like, girl, you don't want that. Like, that success looked terrible.
Oh
Look
no.
at all how unhappy those people are
Oh God.
with their money. You
What-
don't need money. Be a social worker. Help people.
wow. You okay over here? You having a little breakdown?
No, I'm having a realization.
I
I'm
hear you.
sorry. I
I
completely
hear
cut
you.
you off. Go ahead.
It's
I'm sorry.
okay. It's okay. Listen, that's what this is for. Dick it down for yourself, boo. I
Pretty
mean,
much.
I think, yeah, for me, I know I have a memory of whatever thing it is. I have a memory of that failure. So I acknowledge it. Like, okay, yeah, that was a failure. That didn't work that way. And then I move on to a space where I let my friend voice step in. I let my friend come in and try the encouragement instead. It's definitely tough to break the habit, but it only takes one or two times of me encouraging myself instead of being critical before that becomes the new habit. And now that's the habit that I'm remembering. So the next time I'm confronted with a past failure, now my first thought is to encourage and say, okay, I do recognize, but let's try again this way. Here's some ways to improve upon that because that's really what we want to do. And I think overall, I'm coping by being kind to myself and leading with love and grace, the love and the grace that I'd give to my family, my friends, when they make a mistake. I would never tell my friends, like, you made a mistake. Why the fuck you won't even try that again? That's something that would never come out of my mouth. And I don't necessarily say it in those harsher terms to myself, even, but it's that general sense, though, like, why are you even trying this again? You did not do a good job. Like, let that be. You did what you did, and that's it. But I don't want to live that way. I want to live and experience things and improve upon myself in all areas and aspects of my life. And failure is just the way you get to success. You try some shit, it don't work, and then you try it again, it don't work. But you improved upon the last time you tried some shit, and then boom, now you at success. And people only see success. They don't see all the failures and the lessons that are stepping stones to success. And so I'm trying to take that into consideration every time I have a misstep or something that is what I feel like one of these rappers said, I'm trying to make these L's into lessons. And you said that too, I think. And that's definitely what I'm trying to take into like my heart, into my mind, into my soul, and let that just be a part of who I am. Like, okay, I failed. That means I'm one step closer to success, and just having
Right.
that in my head as my mantra for myself. And I think that's, honestly how I'm coping. So,
That's
yeah.
wonderful. That failure is the way you get to success is going to be our Motivation Monday
Hell yeah.
slogan. Yeah, I like that. I don't know, when you replay this, you'll see like I just lit up at that because you're absolutely right. It's just a little extra nugget of knowledge that you probably needed to get on your way to success.
Exactly.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's like hurry up and fail.
Yeah.
The more you fail, the closer you are to, yeah, the more you
So
fail.
success.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? How do you cope with all this?
Uh, how do I cope with you? Like you said, to be aware of it, to be aware that I have this voice and what it's done for me, where it's gotten me,
Hmm.
and to try it out. Like, I know what my life looks like with the more pessimistic. Pessimistic. I failed the first time, but I got it. Pessimistic voice.
Right.
And so now I'm trying to have a more gentle approach, expecting grace and ease.
Hmm.
And the way I do this by making different choices. I know what I would normally default to and what my mind would tell me to do. So just kind of overriding her and be like, you're kind of a hater,
Hmm.
So I won't listen to this new bitch that came in and said I can do it.
Right.
Um, and just see what happens.
Yeah.
I think a way that helps me with that is to get it out. Like before, when I cut you off, like it's easy for me to kind of just diminish, how I'm really feeling, just push it aside, but actually just kind of sit in it, you know, um, either write it out, say it out loud, just somehow get it out. You know how they say like when you're in an abusive relationship to like seek help to tell an adult.
Yeah.
So like it's like that. Like let my journal be the adult, let a friend be
Yeah.
the adult and be like, this
Yeah.
is what I'm saying to myself. Like help.
Right.
And part of that is surrounding yourself with people that you trust to go
Mm,
to. So being
right.
mindful of your energy, other people's energy, and if the people around you mimic your friend or foe voice.
Ooh, that's a
Uh,
good one.
yeah, I've gotten rid of a lot of like faux e voice people.
Mhm.
So I feel like I have a good group of people I can go to and say some off the wall shit, and they'll be like, okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna need you not to say that to yourself.
Right. Right.
um, and I think that's mainly, how I'm doing it. Like just making different choices.
Mhm.
Just choosing to thrive instead of just survive. Because that's what I was doing before when I had that voice. I was just trying to survive. I'm at
Yeah.
this point where I've been alive for a while now. It's like, I mean, anything can happen. Hey, hey, hey. You've survived long enough. Like, let's just try the thrive thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's dope. I really feel like if you weren't a part of the Zoom, it was so incredible. There were so many things on there that people really, were able to give words of wisdom to one another and to receive some things from other participants in the Zoom. It's really incredible. This is not one thing that we brought up though, and this is something that's really interesting. And I hope that when we have the live, people will come on and share their experiences. How do you recognize, and this is something you said in your cope, how do you recognize when your friend is being a phony voice? Because that's actually, I feel like that's a lot of times too, like you said, your circle. Um, Mimicking the voice in your head, or is that just a mirror of them in your head? Like what is that? And
Oh,
then you change your circle and you
wow.
change your voice. Like I don't know, I want to ask you, like, what do you think, and how did you recognize that these friends of yours were Foley voices?
Um, they're definitely mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at their life or their lives, I didn't see one I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving me advice that didn't resonate with me. Or worse, they weren't giving me advice. We were just commiserating with each other. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, oh yeah, I feel like this because X, Y, and Z. And they're like, girl, that ain't nothing because, you know, all these
Damn.
other alphabets. And I'm just like, dang, you need some help, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's it. I think they're a mirror of like where I am, and I think you have to trust your gut. If somebody says something, like it's one thing if somebody says something out of love and it stings, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and you kind of look at them and they just have this look like, I hate to give you this hard truth.
Yeah.
And they can sit with you with
Mm-hmm.
it. And then there's the people who say some hater-ish type things and they'll walk away from you or they'll avoid eye contact. Like, and you just know that it's like, it just doesn't sit well with you. You can't even receive it. And sometimes you can't receive it because you're you and you just refuse to receive it. But I believe that deep down inside, you know the difference. Like if they're giving you advice and they're not doing much better, you know, I feel like you're only as great as your circle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're hanging around with a bunch of people who are just as miserable as you, you're just gonna get that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I do want to iterate though that it's okay to have down days. It's
Yeah.
okay to lean on your friends when you're not having the best time. But I think what you're saying is basically like if that's always all we get, that's
Oh,
always talk about is down, being in the dumps, what's going wrong. I mean, that's going to be your reflection of the world, and subsequently your inner voice is going to start reflecting that. And I think it's very important to keep that in mind when you're making friendships and building friendships. Just how does that person make you feel when you're done with the interaction? Do you
right.
leave uplifted and ready for new experiences? Are you excited? Are you
Yeah.
joyful? Are you at peace? Because it doesn't have to always be like hyper, active like feelings, but it could just be like I feel at peace. I've had a couple of like trips and things with different women, and after each encounter I just felt like it was a healing retreat. There weren't a lot of activities, there weren't a lot of like things, but I was just in community with people who wanted to uplift one another. And I think it is best to have that assessment of, after you leave someone, how do you feel, and I think that's a great way to indicate if this is a good, relationship to help with your inner voice and your inner dialogue.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I'm not saying like, everybody should be okay all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you shouldn't be miserable all the time either. You shouldn't feel hopeless after hanging out with these people. And to add to what you were saying, I think the most brilliant thing you said out of it was be aware of who you are with these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like how you behave.
Right.
Like it's not really about them. It's about you. It's like, I felt like, I was in relationship with some of these people because I didn't think I could do any better, and they didn't think they could do any better either.
Mm-hmm.
So we just all lumped ourselves together.
Yeah.
But just like, yeah, be mindful of how you feel about yourself and your future when
Mm-hmm.
you're around these people. What's your outlook?
Yeah.
Do these people motivate you to do better, or do they reinforce this narrative that you just need to continue to settle, or this is all
Yeah.
life can offer you?
Yeah.
And it's about you.
It is. I think it's really beautiful as I grow up. Just the type of people, because I'm a real grown up. Rena is not quite
Oh
there yet.
no.
That's why she rolled her eyes. I'm a real grown up. Rena got 6 more months, then she'll be a grown up. But
Okay. All right.
but no, I think no, really, as I grow up, I find my level of people around me to just be so encouraging and so beautiful in so many different ways. They're all different in all different like walks of life. There's some really young people that are in my life that are just so different than where I was at their age. Like they're so in tune with themselves, and they're so in tune with the universe. And that has made me want to be more in tune with myself and more in tune with the universe, and like just so culturally aware, so politically aware. And these are the things that I want to be more in tune to. And so just really broadening my circle. And I know Drake had the No New Friends song, but I think that's really dumb, because new friends bring new levels oftentimes. You learn new things, and they bring new experiences and new joys and new conversations. And so I'm just really grateful. This year has brought so many incredible women into my life, or so many incredible femmes into my life. And I am really grateful for you guys if you are listening. And I know you are, because you're dope. And you know what's good for you. I'm just kidding. That's not a thread. Um, oh my goodness. What, Rena? What?
Just whatever you just experienced you had, maybe it's beyond me because I'm not a grown up yet. So
Oh,
I'm just letting you have your moment.
thank you. Thank you. I
Right.
appreciate that. The youth know they play. It's cool. That's dope.
Okay, I'm okay with being a youth. Shit. Take it.
Okay.
It's just, are you finished? I don't want to cut you
I
off.
am. Yeah, I'm done.
No, it's just interesting because when you were talking about like circles and friends and everything, it just dawned on me like, part of it too is being in the wrong circle. Once I admitted to myself, like, you don't even want to be here. Like, I'm sure, like just in the wrong environment,
Mm-hmm.
just period. It's like if you're just not where you're supposed to be, you're not gonna attract anybody who's gonna help further you.
Yeah.
So I
Mm.
was whole ass in an environment that didn't serve me, and then just wonder why everybody sucked. And and now that I've left that environment, all these dope and amazing people have just popped up. And I stay with a life coach, but my first life coach,
Uh-huh.
who kind of broke me into this, I was just like, everybody's just so bad. Like, I'm just so alone. And she's like, you'll find your tribe. And I'm like, when? She's like, they'll appear. They'll show up. And I'm like, how? Like, why not now? And it's like as soon as
Right.
she said that, like, and as soon as I released a lot of things, all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, like, just people just started popping up. And it's just this crazy experience. So Yeah, it's check your circle, and if your circle is kind of feeling a little humdrum, it could be your environment. Like maybe this just isn't really where you need to be, period. So that's
Mhm.
just something I had to add. And it's more reinforcing for myself to tell myself don't go back there
Yeah.
because I also realized that the people that I kind of cut loose or released,
Mm.
they were like they have heavy ties. They're like doors to opportunities in that environment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so these doors have been sealed because I cannot call these people. I've deleted their
Right.
numbers. I can't just easily walk back
Right.
into that environment that I don't fit in, never fit in.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's all I had to say. That's it. I don't know if that's gonna mean anything to anybody, but I just felt like I need to say it.
As long as it meant
Yeah.
something to you, that's really good. I mean,
Hey,
really.
and
I
it
mean,
meant a lot to me.
yeah, this is a conversation between Rena and I, and we are so blessed and honored that you want to sit in with us and have it with us. But this is definitely situations where we dig this down for ourselves so we can be
Yeah.
better, more,
Mhm.
more,
Better
expensive,
selves.
more, yeah, our better selves. And yeah, that's really why we're here. So we're grateful that you are along for the journey. I think we are to the meditation. Is that where we are?
We are to Jess's favorite part.
It is. This is my favorite part. If you are new and if you have been here, then you know what's up next. We are going to do some breathing and then we're going to set an intention and then we're going to let you go about your day. So take a big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. Take one more deep breath with me. And now we'll set our intention. My intention is to recognize when my voice turns from friend to foe and to gently correct her and guide her back to friendship, back to encouragement, back to words of wisdom and advice.
And my intention is to continue to make different choices and be open to seeing different results, positive results.
I love that. All right, we'll take our last set of breaths. Take a big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath.
And we'll take our last deep breath.
All right, your intentions have been set for the day. Go out there and flourish, sis. Today doesn't have to be a mess.
But it's okay if it is.
So, Liz, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in again. Thank you for coming back after our hiatus. We miss you so much, and we're grateful that you are back with us to have these lovely conversations. We want to give a quick shout out to all the folks who came to the Zoom and dig this down with us in person, quote unquote. It was so much fun, and I hope to see more of you at our next Zoom live event. Be looking out for that as we are planning one very, 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 very soon. And it should be another fun one, another interesting one. And I think that's all we have for today. Is there anything else you have, Rena?
No, just thank you all for listening, for coming back. Thanks to everyone, everything you just said. Me too, ditto. That's it.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
Peace.
It's a mess.
Hey, that's all I can do.
It's
I
a
can't
mess.
sing.
It's okay. He's gonna talk over my singing though. Okay, it's ready now.